Smart drivers are not buying 30-year-old cars because they hate progress. They are buying them because some of the best pre-1996 cars were built before complexity got bundled into everything. In this video, we are doing 5 direct old versus new comparisons with tech, real prices, what the old car avoids, and why enthusiasts still chase them today. We are not pretending an old Corolla is safer than a new one, or that an old Mercedes is cheaper to fuel. We are talking about owner control, mechanical clarity, simpler failures, and the kind of long-term logic newer cars often bury under software, screens, and layered systems. We are also talking about cars that normal people can still understand with basic tools and common sense. Number 1 is the luxury sedan that made Lexus famous and still makes modern flagship economics look almost silly. Number 5. 1993 to 1995 Toyota Corolla versus 2025 to 2026 Toyota Corolla. Nothing explains the pre-OBD advantage better than an old Corolla because this is the simplest possible example of a small car beating a newer one in long-term owner control. The old target here is the 1993 to 1995 Corolla, especially the 1.8-liter 7A-FE cars with the 4-speed automatic or 5-speed manual. Those cars are slow, light, plain, and almost aggressively honest. Surviving examples still show up in the market, and owners still talk about huge mileage and boring upkeep as if it is no big deal. That tells you what kind of car this was. The price difference is part of the lease too. A driver-quality old Corolla can still land in the low thousands, while the mainstream 2025 Corolla starts a little above $22,000 before you even start adding trim or fees. Compare that with the 2025 to 2026 Corolla, which now leans on a 2.0-liter engine and a CVT in the mainstream trims, with new pricing starting in the low $20,000 range. The newer car is quicker, quieter, more efficient in some situations, and much safer in a crash. No argument there. But the old Corolla wins on things that matter after the warranty disappears. It is lighter, simpler, easier to understand, and far less electronically layered. When you open the hood, the car still feels like a machine with clear jobs and clear parts, not a stack of systems talking to each other. That difference matters for buyers who do their own maintenance or just want fewer ways for a normal daily driver to become annoying. It also avoids the modern habit of turning small car ownership into software ownership. Why do smart drivers still buy the old one? Because it does honest commuting on cheap upkeep. It is easy to work on. It fits anywhere. And it has built a reputation for living forever on basic maintenance and ordinary fluids. What makes it special is not speed, style, or status. It is the cleanest entry point into this whole argument. A pre-OBD Corolla proves that a small car can still feel logical, open, and owner-friendly in a way many new compact cars no longer do. It is the kind of beater people buy with cash, keep for years, and quietly trust more than cars costing 10 times as much. That is why it belongs here first. For the purest case of simple transportation still making sense, start right here today. Number 4. 1993 to 1995 Mercedes-Benz E320 W124 versus 2026 Mercedes-Benz E350. Old money engineering and new money complexity collide perfectly in this comparison because the W124 E-Class came from a very different idea of what a Mercedes should be. The old target is the 1993 to 1995 E320 with the M104 inline-6 and the 4-speed automatic. Even now, the market treats these cars strangely. Rough ones can be found for normal used sedan money, while clean examples bring serious cash because buyers who understand them know what they are. Edmunds still frames the old E-Class as robust and smooth decades later, and the current used market can run from under $6,000 to well above that for cleaner cars. That already tells the story. Compare that with the 2026 E350, now a mild hybrid turbo 2.0-liter 4-cylinder with a 9-speed automatic and a starting MSRP around $63,900. The new car is packed with comfort, safety, and technology that the old car cannot touch. But the W124 wins hard on mechanical accessibility, lower systems integration, and the feeling that every component exists to do one direct job. The old Mercedes gives you simpler luxury, bank vault build quality, and road trip comfort that still feels special decades later. The newer E-Class asks you to trust a much deeper electronic ecosystem, more integrated features, and far more expensive failure points once time and mileage start working against it. That is the heart of this whole video. The W124 still feels like it was engineered to survive owners, weather, miles, and indifference. The new E-Class feels like it was engineered to impress you first and protect its complexity second. That does not make it bad. It makes it a different ownership bet. Smart drivers still buy the old E320 because it gives them analog luxury without digital dependency. They like the thick doors, the honest steering, the smooth inline six, and the fact that the car feels built around hardware instead of theater. They also like that the old car still rewards patience and maintenance instead of subscriptions and hidden electronic layers. What makes it special is how clearly it shows the shift from old Mercedes over-engineering to modern Mercedes system layering. The old car asks more from the driver and gives less convenience back, but in exchange, it gives you a stronger sense that you still own the machine. For certain buyers, that is worth more than the giant screen. Subscribe right now for cars that still make sense to own, not just the new ones that only make sense on a brochure page. Number 3. 1992 to 1995. Toyota Camry versus 2026 Toyota Camry. Forget collector fantasy for a minute, because the old Camry matters for a much more practical reason. The 1992 to 1995 Camry, especially with the 2.2-liter 5S-FE 4-cylinder or the 3.0-liter V6, proves that an appliance can actually be a complement when your goal is decades of quiet, reliable service. These cars came with old-school 4-speed automatics, and some trims even offered a manual, which means the whole ownership story stays simple, in a way the new car just cannot match. Compare that with the 2026 Camry, which now goes all in on the 2.5-liter hybrid setup and a CVT-style transmission. The new one is clearly better on fuel, better in safety, and better in cabin tech. It is also smoother in traffic, quicker in some real-world situations, and far more polished when you look at screens, driver aids, and sound insulation. But that is not why smart drivers still chase the old one. They buy it because the older Camry is easier to keep alive with basic logic, basic tools, and basic patience. When you open the hood, you are not staring at a puzzle of layered systems. You are looking at an honest mid-size sedan built to handle regular life without demanding a computer degree every time something feels off. That difference matters more after the warranty era is over. It also matters when you want a family car that does not punish age with random electronic grief. The old Camry built its reputation the slow way. It started every day, carried families, survived bad roads, handled neglect better than it should have, and kept going with boring maintenance. That is why people still respect it now. It is not special because it is rare. It is special because it is normal, and normal done this well is actually very hard to replace. The newer Camry is better as a product, but the older Camry is better as a long-haul machine for buyers who want mechanical clarity, easy service access, and the kind of mid-size comfort that does not need a giant screen to feel complete. It also helps that the old Camry was sized for real American family use without becoming bulky or wasteful. The seats are broad, the trunk is useful, and the controls are laid out so plainly that you never spend time hunting for simple functions. That kind of straightforward design ages well. A lot of newer sedans feel more impressive in the first week. The old Camry often feels more relaxing in year 10, year 20, and beyond. That is not nostalgia talking. That is just what happens when a car keeps doing its job without asking for constant attention. That is the whole lesson. Sometimes appliance means it was built to serve, not perform for attention. And when a car can quietly do that for 30 years, smart owners notice. That is why PRE-OBD cameras still matter. They do normal life with less drama, fewer complications, and a much stronger sense that the car works for you instead of the other way around. Number 2, 1990 to 1993, Honda Accord versus 2026 Honda Accord. Nobody needs a sales pitch to understand an Accord, and that is exactly why this comparison hits so hard. The 1990 to 1993 Accord, especially the 2.2-liter 4-cylinder with the 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic, shows what happens when a mainstream sedan is built around clarity instead of complexity. These old Accords were never trying to be dramatic. They were trying to be balanced, easy to see out of, easy to place on the road, and easy to keep going when life got busy and money got tight. Clean older examples still get praised for durability and usable mileage because the formula was so strong. Low weight, simple controls, familiar Honda parts, and an overall feel that says the car is working with you, not managing you. Compare that with the 2026 Accord, where the entry trims still use the 1.5-liter turbo and CVT, while the upper trims move to the hybrid setup. The newer car is absolutely better in fuel economy, crash safety, and modern tech. It rides more quietly, isolates road noise better, and gives buyers the screens, driver aids, and efficiency the current market expects. But once the new car smell is gone and the financing is over, the ownership conversation changes. The older Accord becomes the easier long-haul bet for drivers who care more about fixability and mechanical transparency than feature count. The old car gives you slim pillars, great visibility, a cabin that makes sense without a learning curve, and under-hood access that still feels human. You can understand why it does what it does. That matters. Modern Accords are excellent cars, but they are also more layered, more electronically bundled, and more dependent on systems talking to each other. The older Accord feels more direct. There is also something reassuring about how the old Accord communicates. The steering, pedals, and shifter all feel like they are connected to one clear mechanical idea, not filtered through layers of correction and programming. That makes ordinary driving feel more natural. You notice the road, the engine, and the car's balance in a way many newer sedans mute on purpose. For drivers who still enjoy that kind of feedback, the old Accord does more than save money. It keeps the driving experience simple, readable, and surprisingly satisfying every single day. In real daily ownership, too. That is why smart drivers still buy it. They trust the platform, they trust the parts network, and they trust the simple honesty of a sedan that never forgot what daily transportation is supposed to be. What makes it special is as emotional as mechanical. Almost everybody knows what an Accord is, so the contrast lands instantly. One version feels like the future of normal transportation. The other feels like the last version you could fully own with your hands, your ears, and your common sense. That is why this section matters so much. When people say smart drivers buy 30-year-old cars, this is exactly the kind of car they mean. Not because it is trendy, but because it still makes sense after the warranty disappears. The dealer stops caring, and the car either proves itself or turns into a burden. The old Accord still proves itself. That is why people keep preserving them, driving them, and trusting them with real money. Subscribe if you want the version of a car that stays useful for decades, not just the one with the brightest screen and the easiest financing. Number 1. 1990 to 1994. Lexus LS400 versus 2025 Lexus LS500. Nothing lands this whole argument harder than the original LS400, because this is the car that turned Lexus from a new badge into a serious luxury threat almost overnight. The old target is the 1990 to 1994 LS400 with the 4.0-liter 1UZ-FE V8 and the 4-speed automatic. Clean ones are still actively traded now, and that alone tells you the story. They are not throwaway cheap anymore, because people who understand them know exactly what they are buying. Compare that with the 2025 LS500, now using a twin-turbo 3.4-liter V6, a 10-speed automatic, and a price that starts above $80,000 before you even start climbing the options list. The newer car is more advanced, quicker, quieter in some ways, and loaded with comfort and technology that the old sedan never tried to offer. But the old LS wins the point this video is making. It was engineered first around long-term mechanical durability and second around luxury theater. That difference still matters. The old car gives you a naturally aspirated V8 with silent smoothness, bank vault build quality, and a sense that the whole machine was designed to stay solid long after the brochure lost its shine. The modern LS feels more like a flagship product. The old LS feels more like a flagship machine. That is why smart drivers still buy it. They are not pretending it is safer, cheaper to fuel, or easier to find parts for every trim item. They are buying it because the core engineering is low stress, the hardware still feels special, and the whole ownership story stays calmer than a modern luxury sedan usually can once the warranty is history. The steering is direct enough, the ride is plush without being floaty, and the cabin still has that overbuilt calm that made people take Lexus seriously in the first place. Even the way the doors shut, the way the engine idles, and the way the suspension settles over broken pavement remind you that somebody sweated the invisible details. That is what older flagship engineering was trying to prove. It wanted to impress through precision, not software tricks. The price story matters too. A good old LS is no longer lunch money cheap, but it is still worlds away from modern flagship depreciation and repair exposure. That creates a strange value gap. You can buy something older, heavier, and less fashionable, yet still end up with a calmer long-term experience than the buyer who financed the newer car for prestige. The old Lexus also avoids the feeling that every luxury feature is waiting to become a four-figure surprise. That does not make it maintenance-free. It makes it mentally lighter to own. And that difference is why these cars have a loyal following among drivers. What makes it special is how easy it is to defend with your own money. If somebody asks why smart drivers still chase 30-year-old cars, this is the clearest answer. You are looking at analog prestige, not digital dependency. You are looking at a luxury sedan that still feels expensive in craftsmanship, but not in the same random cascading system-on-system way. Modern flagships can punish owners. That is the whole lesson in one car. The old LS400 is not better in every category. It is better in the categories that matter most once a car stops being new and starts needing loyalty, patience, and real ownership. Subscribe if you want the old cars still worth preserving and the newer versions worth skipping, not lazy nostalgia or lazy new car worship. Buyer rules. Pre-1996 does not automatically mean better. It means the ownership trait is different. You give up crash structure, modern safety systems, a cleaner emissions strategy, and a lot of current convenience features. In the right cars, though, you gain lower system complexity, easier physical access, fewer bundled electronic failures, and a much stronger sense that the owner still controls the machine instead of negotiating with it. Shop old cars by rust, by service history, by parts availability, and by platform reputation. Do not shop for them on nostalgia alone. The PRE-OBD advantage only works when the car was excellent to begin with. A week-old car does not become smart just because it is simple. A great old car becomes appealing because its simplicity still supports real, usable ownership. Buy the wrong old car, and you get a project. Buy the right old car, and you get something rare now. A machine that still feels honest, repairable, and genuinely yours. Click the next video now because we are covering the cheap used cars mechanics actually love today. So you know which modern bargains still make real sense.